Look, it's no secret that last year's Martinsville spring race was not the best, but the question is, was this year's Martinsville spring race any better? Winning at a track he never thought he would win at, capturing his 21st Cup Series victory and making it 38th on the all-time win list, your winner of the weekend was Kyle Larson. The number 5 car was okay during the entirety of the race, but it's no secret that Hendrick Motorsports just wasn't really a factor during Sunday's event. Not at all what we expected from the Hendrick Motorsports camp, but I attribute this win for Kyle Larson not only to sheer determination to fight back from an interesting day, but also attributing it to a late race caution that was able to get Kyle Larson to pit road, having a 2-tire pit call strategy, getting him back onto the track, getting him in clean air, and the rest was history. Drivers like Joey Logano, Denny Hamlin, and Eric Almirola decided to not pit during that late race caution, and that was a strategy call on their own. But I think in this case, it wasn't just track position that you needed, it was track position and fresh tires. So that's where Larson, I think, won this race in my opinion. The other thing with this race too, literally the first half of the race and the second half of the race were a tale of two different events. These results really don't tell you at all what happened during the Martinsville race. Again, Logano in second, he was able to hang on without fresh tires, but a major comeback from him starting at the rear of the field, then getting lapped again. Really lucky with those cautions there. Martin Truex Jr., Denny Hamlin, third and fourth, first top 5 finishes for them this season. Then Chase Briscoe driving for a second week in a row with a broken finger. Chase Briscoe joked that maybe they need to break a finger on the other hand because that seemed to be the difference maker for this team. It turned around their bad luck. Great at Bristol Dirt, great at this race. As we are filming this today, Monday, April 17th, Chase Briscoe did have surgery on that finger. It went well, so that's all the updates we have there, but he did end up having surgery today. But moving right along to his teammate, Eric Almirola in 6th, 7th, Ryan Blaney, 8th, Ricky Stenhouse Jr., 9th, Bubba Wallace, after weeks of bad luck, finally getting a good result for that team. And in 10th place, believe it or not, Chase Elliott captures a top 10 on his return at Martinsville. He said his post-race, he said that his leg felt as he would have expected it to, but the biggest issue for him on Sunday's event was actually the heat. He said, I've been sitting on my couch for 6 weeks, and basically now he's in a toaster oven for the entire race. So that was a very big difference for him. He was sitting by his car at the end of the race, just trying to cool off. Bubba Wallace and Ryan Blaney went up to talk to him. It was nice to see all the boys back. So really good to have Chase Elliott back, and I know the fans are glad that he is back too. So yeah, good result for Chase Elliott. I'm going to be honest with you, I expected as much, but I also knew realistically that probably wasn't possible for him to get a top 10 with his leg at a track like this where you're braking quite a bit. Luckily, it's not a road course, but it's a short track. You're going to be doing a lot of braking. For me, I thought maybe he would have come back at Talladega. That's less braking you got to do, less footwork. But no, Chase Elliott came back here and he did decently well. I mean, not decently well, he did great, I would say, for his return. So good to have Chase back in the number 9. I said that the results on Sunday did not tell the tale of the entire race, and I'm looking at drivers specifically like Ryan Preece, Daniel Suarez, Kevin Harvick, Todd Gilliland, and Tyler Reddick to be exact. Starting with Todd Gilliland in the 25th position, for me, in my opinion, he was on track to have a career best day, and then he dropped a cylinder. I was so disappointed because he was in the top 10 like the entirety of the race until that happened with, I believe, like about 100 laps to go. But I've said it for the past few weeks and I'll say it again, Front Row Motorsports, their program is really strong this year. Gilliland is showing that his rookie stripes are gone. He is racing this year, doing incredibly well. Just unfortunate this result here, but hopefully he moves on and we go to Talladega. They have a really solid super speedway program as well, so we'll have to see how they do. And then Kevin Harvick, he won his first stage since 2020, which is hard to believe. They said that on the broadcast. And then he had a flat tire near the end of the race, lost a lug nut. He was shaping up to potentially win the race, so that's why I was very disappointed with this result from the Ford team. But Stewart-Haas Racing as a whole, though, minus some of the mistakes and errors, did incredibly well. I said last week it was the strongest showing that they had. Same with Ryan Preece. He led literally the entirety of the first quarter of the race, or first third of the race, I think is what they said on the broadcast and what the stats show. And then he had a speeding penalty coming off pit road during one of the pit stops. So a mistake of his own as well, taking into consideration. But beyond the mistakes, a strong showing for Stewart-Haas Racing. Are they back? Are they not? I don't know. I'm waiting for a win from one of them, and I thought today was going to be the day, but really good to see them doing really well on a normal configuration, not a dirt track, but a normal configuration. So the next time we go to a short track, I'm going to be keeping my eye on them for sure. Moving on to the points, the only two drivers now that are multi-win drivers are Larson and Byron, and Larson moves up in the playoff grid. And this is 7 different winners in 9 races, so still pretty good. The biggest changes in the playoff grid I want to draw your attention to, Keselowski and Cindric drop about 4 spots, with Cindric falling below the cut line, and the most impressive jump in the points is Chase Briscoe went from -20 last week below the cutoff line to +10 above that line. It's a 5-spot jump from last week. And that really goes to show what you can do if you have a good day, especially if others don't have a good day. Unfortunately, with this point system and just any point system in general, you're going to benefit from guys having a bad day. Chase Briscoe was able to do that, but he also had a fantastic result, so really solid effort from him in that 14 team. So going on to our race rating above or below the yellow line and kind of questioning, was this better than last year? And in my opinion, yeah, I think the short track package that we have this year made the racing better than what we had last spring. There was still frustrations. The guy that started at the front of the pack, if you had fresh tires, like you were gone. There was no way of catching up to the guy in first place. So that was frustrating, a little bit different than what we saw at Richmond, but I also have to consider the weather was also a bit different. The temperatures were a bit different. That's going to affect the grip that the tires have on the track. So I'm also considering that as a fact. So better but not perfect, and from the driver's perspective, Denny Hamlin basically said it was impossible to pass. This was worse than last year. This is the new NASCAR, very frustrated. Again though, he was able to get his first top 5 finish of the season. That required a lot of passing, but also as a reminder, it required some really solid and really lucky cautions falling in his favor. So if anything, the package still probably needs tweaked. I think it's producing better racing than we saw last year at the short tracks and even road courses. But I think the one thing that we actually need to take a closer look at that maybe we're not thinking about would be that tire compound that we're using at these tracks. Maybe that can be tweaked a little bit, but also thank God we did not have to use the wet weather tires like they did in the truck race. So I'm glad the weather held out for the NASCAR Cup Series. As for the Truck Series, not so much. We'll probably talk about that on the live stream on Thursday just a little bit. But yeah, so overall, a decent race at Martinsville, definitely better than last year. I think I gave last year's race rating like a 30%. This year I'm going to go with 55%. Again, still not perfect. There was the ability to pass, in my opinion, just watching from my TV, and from what I've heard from guys that were at the track, more than last year. Again, the driver's perspective, though, from Denny Hamlin at least, is that it was a lot more difficult, but again, better than what we had last year, so I'll take that as a win. That is above the yellow line. I'm not sure if you all agree with that or not, but if you want to join in on the conversation, make sure to follow me on my social media pages, and also that's where I do some more NASCAR news, so if you're looking for more on-the-minute NASCAR news, breaking news, updates, make sure to follow me on my social media pages, and at TobyChristie.com for more NASCAR news, great articles from the Toby Christie team. All these accounts are linked in the description below, and as a reminder, we are going live on Thursday night at 7:30 Eastern Standard Time. We are gaming, and if you want to have a say in what game that I play, or games I should say, we're playing too, make sure to follow me on my social media pages and let me know what game you want to see. So I'll see you all Thursday and scattered across my social media pages through the week. Thank you all so much for your support and your kindness, and until next time, I'll see ya. Want more awesome NASCAR content? Make sure to watch the videos right here and click the link on the screen.